In Srimad Bhagavatam, there's another story. Well, when Krishna was a little older, living in Vrindavan, he was with his friends. And one day, as they were sitting together near the banks of the river Yamuna in the forest, his friends called out, "Oh Krishna, oh Balaram, we are so hungry. We haven't eaten all day. And you are always merciful and kind to your devotees. So please, fulfill our hunger." So Krishna smiled. He said, "Close by, there are some Brahmins, some very high, learned priests who are performing a yajna or a sacrifice. And right now, it's a very good time for them to give in charity. And they have so much food there. Ask them for some food. And if they don't give to you, tell them that Krishna and Balaram have sent you, and they're hungry." The little boys went there. And the Brahmins were doing their oblations, and they were chanting mantras and chanting hymns and reciting incantations. And they did everything with such precision. And they had so many disciples who were helping them. And the little boys, they bowed down to the Brahmins and said, "You are like the gods of the earth because you are so close to God. But God's hungry." Krishna's hungry and he's nearby in the forest. Please, he sent us to get some food for him. And we know it's a very, very special, good time to give charity. So give us some of the food. We see you have so much. Do you know what the priests did? They just carried on with their rituals. They completely ignored and neglected the children, thinking we are doing something so important. Why should we waste our time for some children? The kids were really disappointed. The little gopas, they went back to Krishna with their heads down. They felt they failed. But Krishna smiled. Not only did he smile, he laughed. He said, "Don't be discouraged. I sent you to be a beggar. And the nature of begging is sometimes people give you and sometimes people don't give you. You can't be attached." They did it for his pleasure, so they were completely successful. But then Krishna said, "Their wives, they're at home. They're my beloved devotees. Go to them. But don't tell them I'm hungry, because that will break their hearts. Just tell them I'm here, and they'll automatically bring food." So the little boys went, and the Brahmins, the ladies were at home. And they said, "Krishna and Balaram," but they couldn't contain themselves. They said, "Krishna, Balaram, they're nearby in a pasture, in a forest, and they're very hungry." These ladies were so excited. Their hearts were thrilled. It was the ultimate highlight of their life. They could do seva for Krishna. The interesting thing is this. Shukadeva Goswami describes it in Srimad Bhagavatam. They never met Krishna. They never saw Krishna. But since Krishna was born, when they were still quite little, they would go to the bazaar or to the village market to buy flowers and to buy fruits. And the gopis who were selling the fruits, they were always talking about Krishna. And just by hearing about him, hearing of his beauty, hearing of his qualities, hearing of his activities, hearing of his love, they completely sharanagati. They surrender their hearts, their body, their minds, their words, their lives to Krishna. 24 hours a day, their hearts were burning with love for Krishna and how much they wanted to see him and serve him. And Krishna, who's in their hearts, Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hrideshirjana Tishtati, was receiving all of their love within their hearts. And here he was now, innocently calling them to come. So they took baskets and filled them with the best foods. There were 4 types of foodstuffs the Bhagavatam describes, and they filled it higher and higher, and they picked it up and went out to the forest and told the gopas, "Please tell us where they are, where Krishna is." And the husbands, and the fathers, and the sons, and the daughters, and everybody, they said, "You can't leave. You can't just go out into the forest like this. We need you here." They forbade them, and they were very angry. And you know what the ladies did? They didn't even look at anyone else. They just left. Sarvataraman parityasya mamekam sharanam brajaham tvam sarvapapibhyo mokshayishami masucha. Krishna tells the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, abandon all varieties of dharma and just surrender to me with love, and I will protect you. They personified this. They were so excited. They were so ecstatic ecstatic with the opportunity to serve, that all the challenges and opposition to them, it was insignificant. And when they came to a particular clearing in the forest near the Yamuna River, for the first time in their lives, they saw Krishna, who they've been meditating on and chanting and singing secretly in their hearts for their whole lives practically. They saw him. And Shukadeva Goswami gives a beautiful description of what they saw. His complexion was blue like a monsoon rain cloud. His eyes were like fully blossomed lotus flowers. His lips were bright like the bimba fruit. His nose like a sesame flower. There was a beautiful peacock feather in his hair. And that hair was cascading and circling around his beautiful cheeks. He had a wonderful garland that extended below his knees, made out of very fragrant, multicolored forest flowers. And while he was playing with his friends, he had different colored minerals that was rubbed on his body. Most of all, he had lilies over each of his ears, and he smiled upon them. That smile was the ultimate perfection, the ultimate destination, the supreme liberation of their lives. Krishna smiled upon them. Krishna, he extended the infinite absolute love that's the source of all love fully into their hearts, through their eyes, by his smile. And they just stood there with their baskets of food. And through their eyes, they took this beautiful darshan, or sight of Krishna, into the very core of their hearts and embraced him. And Krishna embraced them. And they were crying in happiness, and Krishna was so happy. And then Krishna spoke. He said, "Thank you for bringing this food. Please sit down. It's so nice you came. You risked everything. You abandoned all difficulties and overcame all challenges just to come to feed me. This is the perfection of knowledge and wisdom, the perfection of all austerities, the perfection of all yogic processes is unconditional, unmotivated, uninterrupted love. This is what you have. I'm forever pleased with you. Thank you. But now you should go home, because you have so many duties in your home. You have children and relatives and all kinds of other things you do. You have fulfilled your purpose. You brought me food. Please go home." They started to cry. They said, "Oh, Gopal, don't make us go home. We never want to go home again. We want to remain in the forest with you forever. You don't have to let us be gopis or intimate, loving associates of you. Just let us be near you, just to collect some flowers and fruits and roots and give them to your devotees for your loving service. And maybe we'll even collect some of the tulsi leaves so that they can place upon your beautiful feet. But let us stay. Besides that, everyone's angry. They won't let us back home." Would you like to hear Krishna's reply? It's very important. He said, "You should know that one does not attain me through physical proximity with me, but one can cultivate love for me and experience love for me through hearing about me, through seeing the beautiful form of me in the temple, through meditating upon me, through chanting my holy names and chanting my glories and chanting my teachings. In this way, within the core of your hearts, I will be with you always, and you will feel my love and I will feel yours. And I will arrange, because I'm in everyone's hearts, I will arrange they will accept you back home." So then they returned. And as they were returning home, do you know what Krishna did? He got all that food that they brought, and with his own hands he served all of his friends. And made them so happy, because it was really good food. And after he served everyone to their full satisfaction, then he himself ate. This is an important principle. Bhakti means seva. It means to serve with love and devotion. Even the Supreme, even Bhagavan, finds the greatest joy serving with love and devotion. He was happier serving his devotees than they were with serving him. I mean, than he would be if they were serving him. This is the reciprocation of love. God loves to taste the sweetness of his devotees' love, and the devotees love to taste the sweetness of God's love, and they're both expressing their love through seva. And this is an infinite, eternal pastime of the soul and the Supreme Soul. So as Krishna was eating their food, they returned home, and they were so full of light and so full of happiness. Anyone who saw them were practically liberated. And the Brahmins who rejected the opportunity to serve Krishna realized in the light of the love of their wives how ignorant they were. We are so expert in the knowledge of scriptures. We can recite in Sanskrit tens and thousands of verses. We know how to perform rituals with absolute precision. We know how to perform yajnas. We have so many students, so many disciples, so many people are bowing to us. But the whole purpose of all of this is to please Bhagavan. And Bhagavan gave us the chance to please him. And we were so immersed in our rituals, we completely neglected them. But these ladies, they don't know all the rituals, but they knew the essence. And they pleased Krishna. They're perfect, and we're fools. To hell with our rituals. To hell with our high birth. To hell with all of our disciples. Krishna was hungry and we didn't give him any food. But our wives, they are perfect.
You were listening to Radhanath Swami on thesacredconnect.com.